I asked, what team should I pick for a career mode series? And you answered, Mercedes, with Lewis Hamilton as your teammate. Okay then, it's on. Hello everyone, Mr. Channel here, and welcome to the new career mode where I take on Lewis Hamilton in an inter-team battle in Mercedes of Scotland versus England. Because we all know that always ends well. Anyway, that's what you wanted to see, so that's what I'm going to do. So let's cut the flim-flam, get into it, and get started.
Yes, and I respect that. But my client has a championship to contest. So if you want our participation, I'm afraid the concessions are mandatory. Yes, that's fine. Get back to me when you can. Goodbye. No one ever just signs the contract. Anyway, thanks for coming by on such short notice. I just needed to cover a couple of quick things with you before you race. Firstly, as requested, there's a copy of your contract. It's a rolling deal. However, the team reserves right of termination if you fail to meet performance standards. You're second driver for now, but work hard, hit your targets, and I'll be able to sweeten the deal. I'm also looking to get you into some invitational events throughout the season. The experience and exposure from these will be great for your image. Plus, you'll get to drive some nice historic cars. Now then, go get ready for the next session, and good luck.
So here we are, let's get into it. This is our new contract in our new team, whoop-de-doo. Right, so we'll open our laptop, have a little look around hospitality, because, you know, why not? It's a nice look. I've got weird hands though. I'm just going to sit here like a lemon. Yep, there we go, open your laptop, come on. There we go. Right, so, go on ahead, thank you. Right, as you can see here, we've got all our powertrain components like that. We need to keep on top of them to make sure we don't get any grid penalties. So, a gearbox as well. I'm sure you all know about it. Let's just get into practice and see where the pace lies.
We're about to join the action in what is sure to be an interesting practice session here in Melbourne. It's not long until we get the session underway and we'll have some cars appearing out on the track.
Oh look, there we are. Look at us looking magnificent, looking like we know what we're doing.
But it's really important for the mechanics to get everything right as well. As one little mistake
And there's Julian Palmer, who in real life has been binned.
These guys are so
he doesn't know what he's doing.
And they train and perfect everything that they do. Without question, they feel the pressure in the same way as the drivers, and they share the responsibility to ensure that the car makes it to the end of the race.
So on a practice, there's just a quick look over the setup that we went for initially. I did tweak it a little bit in the end because I wasn't too happy with the way the car was handling. Yeah, okay, thank you, Jeff. Shut up. I wasn't happy with the way the car was going. The pace in practice is never very good, is what I'm going to say. You'll probably see throughout the season. I'll show some of the practice times, but generally in the first two practice sessions we are a second off. So, I mean, it's just until the track rubber's in and stuff like that, we're just not on the pace. But here we are doing the fuel-saving practice session, and we had a little bit of time in hand, so I implemented my little cheat, which is basically let off the throttle on the back straight so you can sneak into the purple, and you still beat the time, and there you go, you get purple. So there we go. There's just pretty much the times. As you can see, we're well off the pace, but that's just pretty much usual for us in practice. So there we are, down in 5th place. Not great, but that's just standard practice. If you're roughly a second, give or take a few tenths off, then you'll be alright when the track rubber's in. Oh look, Chris has summoned me to his dungeon. That's nice. He could have seen out, I'm just going to say that in advance.
Ah, you got my message.
Perfect. Yep, sadly.
Welcome to home away from home.
Yep, not at all creepy, not in the slightest.
Factory now than ever before, and it all comes through here. So I have to spend more time checking over the reports and less time hunting you down in the hospitality suite.
Trust me, mate. The reason that you've not been able to find me is because I've been trying to avoid you.
Sorry,
believe me.
Just a sec.
Seriously, he just freaks me out. The amount of times the way he looks at you, the way he shakes his fist at you and stuff like that. It's just, no, he's just a weirdo.
Okay.
I don't like working with him.
Right. Right.
Oh, trouble at the mill. Someone's deleted the porn off his computer.
Well, that makes no sense. Have Sarah reset the simulation and run it again.
That's probably code for check the recycle bin.
Sorry about that.
That's fine. Whatever's on your computer
As
is
I
your
was
business,
saying,
dude.
We've set up a desk for you at the front here.
Before you ask, no, I'm not
Get onto
connecting
the
to your LAN
from
network.
laptop, so make sure to check the R&D screen regularly. And let us know how you want to use the data that we've collected over the weekend and through the practice programs. Also, bear in mind that the news from the factory won't always be good. Sometimes tests fail. Like you've
Tests?
seen just now.
Yeah, right.
And when that happens, we have to divert additional resources to fix it. C'est la vie, I'm afraid.
Okay, now that creep's finally shut up about his porn stash, let's look at the R&D section where we can upgrade the car. There's our points coming in at present. This is what we've currently got to spend, so let's go on a little bit of a shopping spree. We've currently got the overall fastest car, as you can see on the right there on the graph, but this is the areas that we can upgrade in. We've got, first of all, the powertrain section here, where we can upgrade the engine. We're probably going to put some resource points into just making the things cheaper, so we can upgrade faster later on, but you can see there's quite a few upgrades there. Small upgrades, major upgrades, and ultimate upgrades. So, yeah, we'll probably go into that at a later date. Well, I'll go back to it shortly. As you can see there's the bit where we can make them cheaper. Up to the durability bit, which affects the components, makes them more resilient to damage and wear, basically. So they keep their performance. We're going to put on the durability upgrade, the 10% one, which unlocks everything else. It's nice and cheap, so it's well worth having on right immediately. Onto the aero section. We're not too bad aero-wise. We're second best currently at Ferrari. We'll probably stick some front downforce upgrade on, I believe. And onto the chassis, where that's the area where we really need most work, I think. We do lag behind the Red Bull and the Ferrari and the slow twisty stuff, so this track doesn't really suit us too well, but we won't have the overall pace here as that we'll have compared to the higher downforce fast tracks, well, the quicker tracks in general. So we'll work on the chassis at some point over the season, but mostly we'll be working on engine just to get the pure raw performance in the straight, even though we've already got it in the Mercedes engine. So yeah, we're putting on the cheap upgrades, so these just make it 10% per item cheaper. We're using our resource points up, easy for you to say, quite early doing that. We won't get any performance upgrade from doing that as such, but later down the line in the season when we start getting the resource points in, it's going to make a big difference. I'm also going to put on a front downforce upgrade because I do think that we are lacking a little bit in the front downforce element, more than not. But yeah, we've put on the upgrades to make the powertrain components 10% cheaper, so when we go for the upgrades of that, it's going to help us a lot further down the line. And with that, let's just get into the next free practice session. So yeah, this was really the first time that I was able to let the car go a little bit, and the track was starting to come towards me, and yeah, it was the first really representative time of our true pace that we showed. I expected to be further behind than I was, because this track really does suit the Ferrari a lot more. It's a lot more twisty, technical, not really reliant on engine performance so much. To end up where we ended up was quite good. I mean, we're still behind the Ferrari, that much is clear, but the pace is a little bit more encouraging than I thought it was going to be overall. So on to qualifying, and qualifying 1, there's not really much point in showing because we just went out on the ultra softs, we just turned the engine down and we just strolled in a decent time, just enough to get us through. No sense in absolutely gunning it, so that's what we did. You can see there the McLarens, the Saubers and Lance Stroll are the ones that didn't make it through to Q2. But we did. So on to Q2, and I decided that I was going to go on to the super soft tyre, the slightly slower tyre, more durable tyre, so we could try the one stop in the race. And basically I turned the engine up and I went for it a little bit more just to make sure that we could try and make up for the loss in time of the tyre situation. But as you can see, we're going through the lap right now, and it's a relatively tidy one. It's a relatively tidy first turn there, nothing too special. We weren't pushing that hard, but we were, giving it a bit of a go. We just missed the apex a touch, but it's not too bad. It's all tidy enough. You don't really need to get the apex that corner. And through here, flat, no bother, nice and simple. So yeah, we're just strolling around really at a decent pace. But we do need to keep in mind that the tyres, because they are the slower compound, we do need to get a little bit of a shift on, just basically, just to make sure that we are definitely through, because then we'd just be wasting a set of tyres otherwise, so we don't really want to do that. But yeah, we'll see when we go through here. We do leave a good margin for error, but we do push it though. See, we clip that curb there nicely, and that's quite close to a corner cut. We did have 2 wheels on the track, so I'm going to let that one slide. But yeah, through the final section, we actually are relatively quick, and we have been all weekend. Even in practice, it tends to be the sort of first sector and the second sector where we're struggling most. Third sector, we tend to be alright. So, last sector I had a couple of little bites at the cherry there to get the car in, but, you know, I'm still not happy with the setup of the car too much. I really struggled to get the car where I wanted it, but here we go for our lap time, and it's relatively comfortably through, I believe. And in the end, I think it ends up about 5th fastest, and Lewis ends up pipping us, but again, we left plenty of margin for error on the table, so it's not too much of a concern. So, on to Q3, and this is where we really start to push it now. We're on the back on the Ultra Softs, we're at maximum engine mode, and this is really our first proper bomb of the weekend. So let's get into the first corner here, and we do really push it. That's pretty much corner cut, but you know, we more or less got away with it. We ran out a little bit wide on the exit, not great, but we'll try and hit the apex here, try and get this on. Again, we're a little bit wide, but like I said before, you don't really need to hit it. We're nice and smooth over the curb there. We do run a little touch wide. Car does get a little bit squiddly, but it's alright. Flat through there, no bother. Down into here, braking wise, quite good. We're a little bit wide on the apex, but the exit's very nice, so that's not a problem. We just carry as much speed as we can along here. This corner's one I always struggle with, but you know, that's not too bad. We're a little bit wide there and a little bit wide on there, which makes the car squiddly, and we end up clipping the wall there, which is just loses all the speed along the straight, which is just rubbish. So we've already pretty much stuffed the lap up. It's not great. Through there we're quite smooth, but we've already made a mess. We've lost about 2-3 tenths just on that straight alone, just by clipping the wall, because we were squirrely on the exit. So yeah, it's not great. Through here we'll just try our best, try and minimise the damage, get a good banker lap in. And given that Lewis has been on the super softs in Q2 as well, it looks like he's going to be doing the one stop, so he's going to be a direct competitor for us during the race. Out we go through here, and it's a solid enough time, which puts us on provisional pole, but that's not going to last. I think we can be pretty confident about that. So yeah, as you can see, we've pretty much lost all our time in the middle sector. We're clipping that wall. We're quite quick in the first sector. All our time nearly gained on everyone else in the last sector, though. We're quick through there, like I said, but that middle sector was a complete disaster. So if we go out for another run, and we will, with some fresh tyres, we should be able to improve on that. So here we are on our fresh run with fresh tyres, and we'll see what we can do to improve on this. So we're coming into turn 1 here, and we're a little bit hesitant there, both on the way in and on the throttle, so it's not great. We've already stuffed it up, so we're going to have to push a little bit and see if we can try and make up the time. We do know that our main problem is really sector 2, so that's going to be where we're going to gain the most time. So as long as we're within touching distance in sector 1, it's not a disaster yet. But again, we're a bit wide there, and we lose the car on the exit, so that's really bad news. So we come through here though, we're quite smooth through there, but we don't hit the wall, and as you can see, we've suddenly gained all the time back. So that just shows how much time we actually lost. But yeah, in here it's a little bit close to the corner cut again, but again we get away with it, it's not too bad. Going into sector 3 where we're quick anyway, we were very quick on the first run through, and yeah, relatively smooth through there, but again we were a bit hesitant and we ended up losing the time. And as we see, we are now dropped to P2, so that's pretty much pole out the window unless we can absolutely fly it through here, but it doesn't look like we're going to be able to do it. Oh, can we gain the time? We're wide on the exit, and we've lost it on the exit, so it's not going to work out very well for us. We're going to be at best P2 unless we get pipped, and it's P3, so we've been pipped. Who's going to be second? It's the Ferrari. So yeah, at least we did beat Lewis, but not improving on that second run was an absolute disaster.
And the Mercedes. Anthony Davidson, great to have you with us once again. This is a big moment for the sport. Big changes to the technical regulations. The potential, perhaps, to give us the biggest.
So let's see what we can do here anyway. On to race day, as you can see. There's Kimmy giving an interview, which is just not realistic at all.
Good thing then that combined these teams put in just a shade over 13,000 kilometres on the clock during testing. The cornering speed.
So we've got to beat these red guys. What we do have in our advantage is they're both starting on the Ultra Softs, so
Well, on the right
Yeah,
day,
they
on
should
the
be
right
two
tyres,
stopping,
we
and we're
might
one
just be
stopping
fed
along
up
with
this
Lewis
year.
by the looks of
Wider
it.
tyres,
So
wider
we,
cars,
you know, we
more
should be
downforce.
relatively
I have to say they look
relatively
great.
good, as
The
long as we
qualifying
can keep in
spectacle
touch with
is
them,
undebatable.
or even pit
Now
one
the
of
big
one of
question
them
remains,
into the first
can they
corner
follow?
or what.
Can
We
they
can see
race?
what we can do.
Or have these
But
new rules
if
gone
as long as
too
we're in
far?
touch, we're making one less
Well
stop,
then,
we
after
should
an
be fine. We
exciting
should be quite
qualifying session
comfortable.
yesterday,
So it's just
let's
about
take a
making the
look at
tyres
how the
last,
cars
really.
line
It's a
up.
long game we've got to play.
Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and Kimi Raikkonen completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have a Mercedes, Hamilton, Max Verstappen, and Ricciardo, Perez, Ocon, Massa, and Kevin Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Grosjean, Jolyon Palmer, and Kvyat, Sainz, Alonso, Stoffel Van Dorn, and Pascal Wehrlein. Ericsson and Lance Stroll rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Be patient going into turn 1. We want to be in a good position for the rest of the race. Good luck.
Thank you. Yeah, one stop. I toy around with the strategies a little bit just to see what we can do with pace-wise, but we're going to go on the one stop and onto the formation lap. So we are lining up onto the grid, just wait for everyone to form up, and we are ready for our debut, I guess. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, hold, and we're off. So we get a decent start. Hamilton's sort of creeping up on us, but we seem to have him covered. We've not gained any ground on the Ferraris, but I'm going to take it nice and cautious into here. And we managed to hold it a little bit squirrely on the way out. Is Lewis going to get a run at us? No, he's not. We've got him covered. We just make sure that we cover him off. And I see a little bit of a gap. Raikkonen's a little bit cautious going out, so we just dive bomb him basically. But we make no contact and we squeeze through. So that's us into P2. That's a great start for us. And yeah, we'll look at it again from the outside view. So as the 5 red lights just go on, and there they go off. And yeah, as you can see, Lewis does get a little bit of a better start than us, but it's pretty much even Stevens. The second part of our start was probably better than him. So yeah, it's outboard. It looks a lot more aggressive the way we sweep around the outside of Lewis. So yeah, I doubt you'd be too happy about that in real life, but you know, racing's racing. And our move on Raikkonen was brutal, but we kind of scared him out of the way. But you think our move's brutal? Look what Lewis done to him. Bumped him out the way and then round the outside. So yeah, that wasn't too bad. But look at it on board with Lewis. You'll see he does get that initial bite better than us, but our second phase of the start is better than him, and we end up pulling away. So it's not too bad. I don't think we make contact. Slight rub on the side pod, but it's not. I wouldn't really say it was contact. It was just a grazing, no more. He tries to tuck into our slipstream, but he can't get around. And there's our brutal move on Raikkonen, and he sees the opportunity and just dives straight through. So yeah, that was quite brutal racing. And on board from Raikkonen, you can see no contact with us, but he smacks Lewis. That's quite heavy contact. Tries to hold it up the inside, but he can't get there. So anyway, we go on and we just try to create a little bit of a gap. We do pull away a little bit, which is encouraging considering Raikkonen's on the ultra softs. But you know, we've just got to keep touch with Vettel. But he is pulling away a little bit. It is a little bit of a concern, but we'll see how it shakes out. Our pace ahead of Raikkonen is encouraging to say the least. But then we have a safety car, so that does change things. Perez is out. So what happened to him? Let's have a look what happened to him. And yeah, his engine just went pop. So the Pink Panther has ran out of puff, and that's him out the race. So we try and work out what Vettel's going to do here, because it's quite early. I think he would stay out, but definitely on a 2-stop. We're doing a 1-stop, so I probably would dive in, and as it turns out here, he does. So we cut straight to the restart of the safety car. We are now in the lead. Vettel's about 10th or 11th or something like that. We back the pack up and we see what we can do. We're going to have to stretch a gap to Raikkonen because he stayed out. He's still on the 2-stop, but we're going to be struggling towards the end, whereas the Ferraris are going to be quick. So anyway, we pull out and racing has resumed. So he's in my slipstream here, but it's not too bad. We have him well covered off. It's all okay. No one looks like they're going to make a dive. Lewis looks like he's getting closer, so Raikkonen's going to be coming under pressure, which is great for us. We go back on board. I'm not too happy with the car's handling, I've got to say that. So I'm having to drive around quite a lot of understeer with exit oversteer. So it's not great, but we just make do with what we've got. The car will hopefully come to us throughout the race when the fuel lightens off. So yeah, we just try our best basically, just try and keep the pace up as good as we can. We go purple in the first sector, but nobody's had a proper first lap really. So yeah, we cut on a few laps, 5 laps in now. Look behind us and you can see that the gap is increasing. Lewis is still putting more pressure on Raikkonen, and Raikkonen's putting on us, so absolutely no bother at all. We just keep going. We're in control of this race. I'm feeling good at this point. Lewis is our main competition here, and Lewis has got past now, so but Lewis is pitted, so that's quite early for a one stop, sorry. So he's going to be struggling a little bit, and that kind of interests me a little bit. It makes me wonder if he is on the one stop, because he really should have stretched that out to about lap 10 or 11 at least. He's a lap early. It's going to be a push for him. So yeah, we just try our best. We kind of stretched our own stint out a little bit, but here's us coming into the pits now to switch on to the softs, and we're going to have to make hay while the sun shines on the soft, because we're not going to have great pace, so we are going to have to push it quite a lot. So yeah, relatively smooth pit stop, nothing really to complain about. We didn't really push the entry that much, but we do have a little bit of time in hand, especially because people are going to be pitting around us, so we're alright. Raikkonen, we've pretty much seen him off, unless it's another safety car, he's not going to factor. Lewis is going to be our main threat still, because we still have to think that he's on the one stop, but I do have my doubts, especially towards the end, because he's going to be pushing his tyres a little bit far. But yeah, we go on a few laps here. We end up closing up to Kvyat, we're in 5th, he's in 4th, and it's pretty much game on. We don't really want to waste too much time here, so we want to get past as quickly as we can. We are making purple sectors. It's all not too bad. We're still in control of this race. We still need to remember that, because Vettel's going to stop again. But big dive bomb. That's very brutal, and we're very wide on the exit. But Kvyat gave so much room there. It looked like he was having his own accident. So we kind of got away with it a little bit. If he turned in on us, we would have had a problem. But you see on board here, it's brutal. We probably would have had to give the place back, but he ended up double locking himself. Whether he saw us and just panicked, I don't know. So it is what it is, and we got on. We move on another little bit of time here. Right up again behind Sainz now. He's in 2nd place now. The 3rd place, sorry. And yeah, again, we don't want to waste time behind him. We don't want to get stuck behind him. We've got to just make sure that we're protecting our own gap towards the end. We go purple again, and we a little bit of a dive again. But it was fair, absolutely fair. Hard but effective. You see on board with Sainz. He does graze our side pod a little bit, but he left the space. Well, we created the space, so we make use of it. We push on now. We end up taking the lead because I think Vettel's pitted again. And yeah, as it goes on, we're just setting fastest laps now. We've just got to keep our ped here, keep it nice and smooth, and make sure Vettel doesn't close in on us. Yeah, so Lewis is still a threat, so that's the thing that's got. So yeah, he still seems to be on the one stop at this point. So he is still a threat, but we do have enough of a gap that it's not too bad. So yeah, we're relatively comfortable at this stage.
Lewis is behind you. The gap behind us is 10.4 seconds.
Good. Lewis is stopping again, so that's it. That's the cars out, lads. We've just got to cover off Vettel's pace. We've just got to basically make sure we manage the car, manage the tyres, we still have pace, and there's Lewis going in now. Yep, thank you very much. That'll do us very, very nicely. So we're just going to cover him off. We're just going to stroke the car home, and we have time to look back what's going on elsewhere in the race. So it's a great little battle here from Verstappen and Alonso. Yeah, Verstappen quite brutal there going round the outside, but you know, the McLaren's holding on quite well, so we'll see who gets ahead here. I think Verstappen's going to just have him though, and he does just squeezes ahead. But great little battles going on throughout the grid. We cut back to ourselves here, and yeah, there's Vettel just starting to close the gap now. So yeah, things are going to be a push towards the end, but I think we've got enough gap. We just need to keep the times respectable, I would say, is what we need to do. Just keep it smooth. Make sure we don't burn our tyres out. It's just all about preserving things. So we move here on, and we're getting, what, 4 laps to go? It's not too bad. We're 24 seconds ahead of Hamilton. fine. Just keeping it smooth, keeping it nice and chilled. Vettel's there in second place. He's the one that we've just got to keep an eye on.
The gap behind us is 8.8 seconds.
He's cut it down to 8 seconds from 13 earlier on, so yeah, we just need to keep our eye on it. But we move on to the last lap, and to be honest, he's absolutely no threat at all. We could stop, have a little cup of tea on the start finish straight before we cross the line if we wanted to. It's nice and comfortable. We're just, like I say, managing things. In the end, it was a very easy race for us. We just, clearing the Toro Rossos was the big thing. Once we were clear of them, they didn't hold us up anything, and we could just manage the pace. We always had a little bit in hand. The car handling wasn't very good, but I always had the pace. I think, you know, we were probably about the third fastest car, but the safety car opened the door for us. Vettel got held up in traffic, and that was that. He probably lost a lot more than 6 seconds.
6.4 seconds.
Yeah, 6.4 it's currently sitting at, but Vettel lost more than that, just clearing traffic basically. So, you know, all nice and comfortable. It's a great debut for us. Qualifying, we've still got to work on, but, you know, as long as we're clever in the races, we know the car has the pace. We're going to be a threat to everyone this season, which is great. It's great stuff. I should say as well that I am running on Ultimate AI and everything like that, so, you know, it is going to be a challenge. There is going to be some circuits that aren't going to suit us, particularly things like Monaco. A mix of, you know, me just not being great around it. I used to be good on it, but yeah, time's changed that. But Mercedes isn't good around it. But we sweep round the corner, last corner, and we come across the line to win the Australian Grand Prix on our debut. Yes.
So, another fantastic victory for the Silver Arrows. Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
So there we have it, and onto the podium, haha, there we go. Not bad going, not a bad debut all in all, qualifying third and then getting on the top step. So yeah, we just managed it, it was fine, it was quite comfortable. No doubt we'll have to thrash out wheel to wheel at some point, but I'm sure that champagne will taste sweet tonight. Come on, photo guys, come on, there we go. Don't look too bitter, Lewis.
So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship.
Well, obviously we're top, we won the race. Won the race has been.
As we reach the end of the Grand Prix weekend. And now I'd like to ask you, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Probably Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, whatever.
You know, strong pace, good work.
To be fair, Sainz did well in the Toro Rosso. He ended up being on the second at one point, so I'm not going to begrudge him that. We were in the faster car, so I'm not that bitter. Nah. But, you know, third place in a win on your debut is quite good going. So anyway, yeah, we move on to the rivalry. You know, we're ahead because we won the race and we out-qualified them. No bother. So yeah, Ferrari are quite impressed with us, but we beat their car, so it's fine.
Is this the one?
Indeed it is.
Whoa, who's this prick?
Jonathan. He's going to let you drive some of his cars.
Well, not quite my cars per se. It's a mere detail. You know, I'd really rather be down there racing them myself, to be honest. I'm actually quite handy behind the wheel.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. You jumped up so and so.
Lateral G's, you know. The old neck can't really handle it. So I need a pro. That's where you come in.
Whoa, look, I'm a race winner and you didn't even know who it was 30 seconds ago. Cough.
Time trials, races, all sorts. And I have it on good authority that you have the ability and temperament to do well in these.
Well, apparently you heard wrong. I've got the temperament to drive the cars right up your own ass.
Bring the cars back in one piece. So consider this a formal invitation.
I will, as long as you consider this a rejection.
Now, I'd just like to step into my office. I'd like to go over
Prick. Anyway, now that he's out the road, that'll do us for today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. It was a little bit of a good debut for us, not too bad at all. But yeah, we might start off episode 2, if people want to see it, with one of that arsehole's classical invitational events. Ooh. And we'll see how it goes. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.